So let's look at and let's talk about part of that is every practice has to have two missions, okay? It has to have a service mission, which kind of what we talked about, but it needs to be articulated, and it needs to have an economic mission. If you've listened to any of what Covey used to say, no margin, no mission. And I've said for years, no profit, no purpose. So the two really are really closely linked together. Follow me? We've got to have the profit so we can really think about the purpose. This was a statement by Kennedy years ago that probably a lot of you, some of you weren't even alive then. This nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before the decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning safely to Earth. That was a big mission. Do you agree? So a service mission is what contributions we make and to who we make them to, and how do you achieve your purpose, right? In other words, we've got the purpose now, how do we express that? How do you make a difference in people's lives? And remember this, when you're thinking in the realms of wealth creation, small things that you do for people create small rewards. Big things, big values that you create in people's life creates big value, creates big rewards. So it depends upon, how you want to make your contribution, right? We're all going to do this differently, but it is very, very different, okay? But primarily, the service mission is in some way to improve the quality of life. In some way to improve the quality of life. And so I ask the question, I often ask doctors when I'm talking to them, do you want to fix teeth or do you want to transform lives? You've got a choice. You've got a choice, okay? And then you have to ask the question, in this area of the service, what kind of relationships do you want with your clients or your patients? Okay? What level of relationship do you want? Now that's one side, but we can't ignore the economic side. What will be your growth strategy? What market position do you want? What rate of growth in profit contributes to your long-term survival and outlook? What rate of growth? In other words, rapid rates of growth aren't necessarily always healthy, okay? Because they can create burnout, they can create stress. If people are maximizing or optimizing profit, they may not reinvest in their business, follow me? Because they're trying to maximize the profit. Okay? So you have to really figure this out. There needs to be some way to make a balance of this, okay? What makes your practice unique? What makes it stand out? What's different about it, okay? All of this is extremely important relative to the economic. How do you determine your economic success? Too many dentists that I talk to determine their economic success by how much they produce, not how much they net. Okay? I've always said to people, production is ego. It's about vanity. Okay? That's the two things dentists talk about when they go to dental meetings. I don't go to very many dental meetings. They talk about, they're on one side of the bar, they're complaining, and the other side of the bar, they're bragging. They're bragging about how much money they made last month. They're not bragging about how much good they did. Okay? So then you got to think about, how do you survival-proof your business? How do you survival-proof it, okay? So I think it's really, when you look at this, it's really the service mission and the economic mission are two things they're like joined at the hip, right? We can't really separate time and money, can we really? Time and money are very intricately, and then two other things are very intricately tied together, and that's people and purpose, right? And two other things are really intricately tied together, and that's marketing and sales. But overall, if you take the two, service mission, economic mission, you have both of those things to be concerned about as you're thinking about what you're going to be doing.